Welcome to Journaling with Nature, the podcast for those who want to turn curiosity into wonder, a pencil sketch into a rabbit hole of discovery, a moment of stillness into a life full of joy. I'm your host, Bethan Burton. Let's open the pages of our nature journals and explore this world together. Hello, this is episode 95. Today, I'm bringing you a short solo show to talk about something important that came up during International Nature Journaling Week. This has been buzzing around in my head and I wanted to talk it over with you and get your thoughts on it. One of our generous instructors who gave a live workshop during International Nature Journaling Week was nature artist Jean Mackay. Now, Jean gave a workshop which was called Values Added, all about creating depth and impact in our sketches using a wide range of values from highlights to dark shadows. Jean added an extra layer to her workshop by talking about the concept of values from another angle, about what we value in our lives and how that can be reflected in our journals. Jean asked us to identify and write down some of our own values and ways we might express these values in our journal pages. I'm looking back at my notes from Jean's workshop and I noted down several things that I value when nature journaling, and these were calm, connection, kindness, and flow. For Jean, one of her values is beauty. If you've seen Jean Mackay's work, you'll know her style, which features lovely hand lettering and a painting style that's somehow very free and at the same time exquisitely captures the colors and forms that she sees around her in nature. Anyone who looked at her pages would call them beautiful in every way. So Jean values beauty and she spends time capturing the beauty of nature in her journal through art. Now, as I watched Jean give her workshop, I was reflecting to myself on all the times that I've repeated the phrase, nature journaling is not about making pretty pictures. Many adults who come to my workshops bring with them a lifetime of fears and self-criticism about art making. It's been a huge part of my work just to get people to relax enough to pick up a pen and start making art. Perfectionism or the desire to make something pretty or pleasing really can hold people back from even starting. But I realized during Jean's workshop that saying that it's not about pretty pictures isn't exactly what I need to be saying, because it can be about making pretty pictures if making beautiful pages brings you joy, connects you with nature, and puts you into a state of flow. For Jean, making beautiful nature journal pages does these things. For others, like nature journal teacher Melinda Nakagawa, the nature journal is a place to learn and play. Melinda considers her journal to be like the scratch paper you use when working out a mathematics problem. It can be as messy as you like, and the end result isn't important at all. It's the process that's important. Going back to the idea of values, Melinda values play and discovery, and that's reflected in her journal. There are other situations where pretty pictures might be of value. For example, Queensland nature journaler Dion Dior uses her journal as a tool for natural history. Making accurate field notes and sketches, and then using the detailed techniques of natural history illustration helps Dion learn and communicate about the species around her. Dion creates very detailed pictures of animals and plants showing accurate anatomy and structure. She's able to use this information to contribute to citizen science projects with accuracy and rigor. For me personally, I started nature journaling as a way to feel connected to the world during a really difficult time in my life, and it helped me calm anxiety and overthinking, and it brought me into the present moment. And even now, the main reason I nature journal is to find a calm moment of connection with the natural world. I value connection and stillness, and when I look back on my nature journal pages, I'm able to remember the peace that I felt during the time I spent creating that page. So I guess I wanted to speak about this topic because Jean's workshop was a lesson for me, to think before I make any statement about what nature journaling is or isn't. Focusing on our values and the reason and purpose behind our journaling practice will help us understand whether our journals are reflecting our values or not. I still strongly believe that we shouldn't strive for perfect pictures if that adds stress to the experience or takes us away from our goals or what we value. But it's also important to recognize that creating beautiful pictures in your journal can be a way to show appreciation and gratitude for beauty and can be a connective experience in itself. Also, creating very detailed and accurate pictures can serve a purpose in allowing you to share your natural history observations and contribute to a wider scientific knowledge. I feel that we shouldn't put nature journaling into any boxes or define it too strictly. Some nature journals don't include any pictures at all. Some nature journals are filled with numbers and data. Some are written reflections on nature observations or feelings that are experienced during a nature outing. The phrase about nature journaling not being about pretty pictures is valid where it helps people feel at ease with making nature observations using art. This is a really important thing because of how many people feel that making art is not for them or that their pictures aren't exactly how they wanted them to look. It's worth noting here that making good art is about making lots of art and that art skill improves with doing. But at whatever stage of your journey or whatever skill level you have, your picture is a success if you have learned something about nature, communicated something to another person about your observations, or had an experience of connection with nature while you were journaling. So, just as Jean did in her workshop, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on what you value. What do you want to get from your nature journaling experience, and what do you want to be reflected on the page? Let these values guide you in how you show up to your nature journaling practice. If you value play, then let your pages be full of crazy marks that make you laugh. If you value learning, let your pages show the richness of your discoveries. And if you, like Jean, value beauty, don't be afraid to focus on creating beauty as a way of capturing and expressing your experience of beauty in nature. Nature journaling is whatever you make it, so may it bring value into your days. If you'd like to watch Jean Mackay's workshop, it's up on the International Nature Journaling Week website, and you can find the link in the show notes. I would really love to hear your thoughts on this topic of our nature journals reflecting what we value. You can share your thoughts and ideas on the Journaling with Nature website under this podcast episode. The link for this will also be in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.